Can you name some banks? Hello? Can you name some banks? Students, are you getting my voice? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So why don't you respond then? Can you
SBI,
name?
sir. HDFC.
Okay, SBI. Any more?
HDFC.
HDFC,
Axis Bank.
Axis Bank. So those are the banks you have visited or you are aware about it. See, those banks, if you look into their nature, usually we the customers visit the banks and for what? What is the purpose of visiting? Either we deposit our money or we take loan or we withdraw money. Those are the things. That means bank means usually which we refer to the banks where we deposit money, where from we withdraw money, where from we take loans, etc., etc. That means the financial institutions which usually deal with the customer, with its customer. So that is a type of bank which deal with the customer called the commercial bank. Commercial bank. Commercial bank. So commercial bank is a type of bank which directly deal with the customers, where the customers can deposit money, where from the customers can withdraw money, or customer can take loans, etc., or some other financial purposes as sort of the customers. But there is another bank. You might have heard the name of the bank. It's called the Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank. RBSE, Reserve Bank of India. Which is in short called the RBI, Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India does not actually directly deal with the customer, because you do not visit the Reserve Bank for taking loan or to deposit money or to withdraw money, etc. Because Reserve Bank of India directly do not deal with the customer. So usually they deal with the commercial bank. They also disburse loans to whom? To the commercial bank. So that is why there are different banks which you have made at a commercial bank. The commercial bank, the Reserve Bank is the bankers of the bank, bankers of those commercial banks, bankers of those commercial banks. Besides that, you also find mainly in the village area, it is also found in urban areas, the cooperative bank. So cooperative bank you deal with the customer base to fulfill the purpose of almost all functions of the commercial bank. Almost all functions of the commercial bank. So commercial bank is a cooperative bank. It was enacted and passed in 1949 in many village area for the purpose of solving the issues of the villager. Later on, it came to the urban areas also. So as per this syllabus, you have to study the functions of Reserve Bank of India and the commercial bank and an idea about the cooperative bank. So if we first discuss about the commercial bank, then commercial bank, what are the functions of commercial bank perform? Accept deposit. Accept deposit. That means commercial bank accept a deposit. So the customers who can deposit money in the commercial bank, and after that we earn a sum of interest at the end of the year at a fixed rate, at a particular rate of interest. So accept deposit. Then it advances loans also. Advances.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, you're
Yes.
not audible properly, sir. Your
Hello.
voice is very low. Yes, sir. You're not audible properly.
Not audible.
The sound is very low, sir.
Sound about you. Hello. Now are you getting my voice? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it accepts deposit from the customers. It advances loans to the customer. So with the customer who we visit the bank, we usually deposit money in the bank. So accepting deposit, there are different forms of deposits. There are different forms of deposit. There is current deposit, current deposit, which the people deposit on current account on which no interest is paid. Interest is not paid. Then demand deposit, then time deposit, bank deposit. So there are various types of deposits the customers can make in the commercial banks. Time deposits, recurring deposit, interval usually people used to deposit money in the commercial banks. So those are the different types of deposits the people usually made with the commercial banks. The loans also different types of loans. Say cash credit loan is disbursed to its customers. Then a mortgage loan is also disbursed to the customers. Those are actually given to the customers to solve the financial issue. So there are different types of loans given to the customers, actually deposits to the customer. So those are the main functions. Issues checks to the customers. Then it helps to carry cash to amount of cash from one corner to the another corner of the country or in the world. So there are many functions related to the financial purposes are solved by those commercial banks. But you need to remember only one thing, that commercial bank is directly dealing with the customers. Reserve Bank does not deal directly with the customers. But here, the most important part of the commercial bank is that since the commercial bank issues loan to the customers, so commercial bank creates credit out of the loan given to the customers, which is called the credit creation policy. So credit creation policy, CRADIT, credit creation policy or credit creation is treated one of the most important functions of the commercial bank. What is credit creation? Credit is created by giving loan to its customer. Let me give you one example so that your idea concept will be clear. Credit creation is very much important aspect of the commercial bank, for which actually the banks run. Because commercial banks usually they are profit motive. They also make profit out of the transactions. Out of the transactions means the transactions are made by the commercial bank to its customers. The customers deposit money out of the deposit. The loan is disbursed. Loan is given to the other customers. Let me give you one example so that your idea will be clear. The credit creation by the commercial banks. Credit creation. Suppose a customer, say customer A deposited, deposited sum of rupees 1,000 in State Bank of India. Say Jorasapo branch. So in your nearest branch. So person A is the customer of SBI Jorasapo, and that customer A has deposited cash rupees 1,000 in SBI in his own account. It is actually the primary deposit. deposit. So primary deposit held by the customer A in SBI Jorasako is 1,000. Now you see this customer A, when he has deposited 1,000 rupees and after 10 minutes in his savings bank account, after 10 minutes he may come back and he may withdraw that money. He may withdraw that money. So if that particular customer who has deposited, if he makes demand to withdraw the money after 10 minutes or after 1 day, the bank is compelled to allow him to withdraw that money. Whether 1,000 or 500, whatever the amount, bank will be compelled to allow him to withdraw. So that is why only one customer usually not visit in a day. Many customers visit the particular bank every day. So every customers are depositing money, and those are treated as the primary deposit which has been deposited by the cash. Now, out of that, this SBI, what SBI will do? SBI will retain sum of money, say 100 rupees, 100 rupees, 100 rupees will retain with the RBI or with that particular bank, whatever will retain. And rest 1,000 minus 100 is 900 rupees will disburse as loan. Will disburse as loan. Disburse as loan. So this 100 rupees is kept with that particular bank. Why? Because that particular person may come back next day or after 1 day or on the same day and may withdraw that money. Now you may ask, he has deposited 1,000, so 100 rupees is only kept with the SBI as cash. So if he asks 500, 600, how will it be possible to return? Yes, it is possible because there are many customers visits. From every customer, a sum of money is kept with that bank. So, and all the customers who has deposited, everybody will not come back to withdraw the money. So that a sum of money, it depends upon a particular rate of interest. What is that particular rate of interest? Here the rate of interest is 10%. 10% into 1,000 is equal to 100. So 1,000, 100. So what is 10%? Why 10% has been fixed? Why not 5%? Why not 20%? It is fixed by the RBI. RBI. What is this? This is called CRR, cash reserve ratio. This cash reserve ratio is fixed by the Reserve Bank of India, which is the regulator of the monetary authority, which is the regulator of all commercial banks. So, because it is Bankers Bank, it is the regulator of whole monetary authority, regulator of whole money market. So, Reserve Bank of India fixes what will be the rate of interest depending upon the money flow in the economy or depending upon the money supply in the economy, so that inflationary situation can be controlled or deflationary situation can be controlled. So depending upon the money supply of the economy, this CRR is fixed. So if there is huge inflation in the economy, so loan amount has to be squeezed, has to be contracted. In that case, CRR will be more than 10%, say 20%, 30%. So that amount of money in the commercial bank will be less to disburse money. So whatever that is different issue already I discussed in last class. You have a question after the class of Sumar. So CRR is the cash reserve ratio. Cash reserve ratio is fixed by the Reserve Bank of India based upon the rate at which the cash reserve ratio is fixed. The commercial bank keeps that amount of money in its hand to meet the day-to-day customers' demand. So you see, out of 1,000 rupees, 100 rupees is kept with either with the RBI or with that particular commercial bank, and the rest 900 rupees is disbursed loan. Now this loan SBI has disbursed to suppose customer B. Now out of 1,000 rupees, 900 is disbursed as loan by State Bank of India to customer B. But here you need to note a point that customer B is not allowed or is not given the cash amount rupees 900. What customer B will be asked to do? Customer B will be asked to open an account with checkbook facilities. with checkbook facilities. So customer B will open an account. In his account, 900 rupees will be credited by SBI. Now, customer B has been given like 900 rupees as loan. After that, what happens? This customer B, suppose customer B has given this 900 rupees, or out of that 900, 200 rupees to another party, issuing a check for purchasing any commodities or any other purposes. That customer or the person to whom that customer B has issued check, suppose that customer is having account in Bank of Baroda. Suppose Bank of Baroda. So 900 rupees has been issued to customer B, and that customer B has issued check to somebody. Has issued check to somebody who has account in Bank of Baroda. So that check of SBI will be submitted in Bank of Baroda. Check of SBI will be submitted in Bank of Baroda. So Bank of Baroda receives a check of 900 rupees. Once it is received, then Bank of Baroda, out of 900, rupees 90, as CRR is 10%, rupees 90 will be kept with Bank of Baroda to meet the day-to-day customers' demand, and rest 900 minus 90, 810 rupees. 900 minus 90, 810 rupees will be issued to loan to customer C. So 810 rupees is issued as a loan to customer C. Again, customer C will be asked to open account with Bank of Baroda, and in the customer C's account, so 810 rupees will be credited, and then customer C suppose issues check to customer D, and customer D is depositing that check in United Bank of India. So customer D, when deposits United Bank of India, again United Bank of India will keep 81 rupees in its hand, and rest 81 minus 810 minus 81 is 790. 810 81 9 729. So 729 rupees, 729 rupees will be lent to another, say, customer E. Now you see, this will continue unless it becomes zero. It will continue unless it becomes zero. So if we look into the credit creation, that means how much money has been given for loan, then you see this is 900, then after 900, then 800, then 729, and so on. And we find the amount will be 1,000, 10%, 10,000 rupees. So here, from this example, you can understand. Out of this primary deposit was 1,000 rupees, and this 1,000 rupees was deposited by customer A in State Bank of India, and with the help of the total monetary system of different banks, this 1,000 from 1,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees has been credited or disbursed as loan. So from 1,000 rupees, total monetary system has earned profit or interest on 10,000. So in 10 times money has been multiplied. 10 times through the credit creation process. Credit has been created on 10,000 rupees whereas the primary deposit was 1,000. Whereas the primary deposit was 1,000. Now you may ask, what is the, how can we get the conclusion, how can we get the calculation? 1,000 rupees will be multiplied with 10,000 rupees. Yes, for that there is a mathematical formula. If you go in this, calculate this, unless it reaches to 0, you will get 10,000. And easily, suppose here it is 1,000, it may be 1 lakh, it may be 5 lakhs, it may be 50 lakhs, it may be 50 crores or so. So it is difficult to calculate in this process. So that is why to calculate this from primary deposit, how much money will be credited can be calculated with a mathematical formula. What is that the formula? Amount of credit creation, amount of credit creation is equal to primary deposit held by the public into 1 by CRR, 1 by CRR. Now here credit creation equal to primary deposit held by the public is 1,000. In our example it is 1,000 into 1 by, in our example CRR is cash reserve ratio is 10%. So 1,000 into 1 by 10 by 100 is equal to 1,000 into 10 equal to 10,000. 10,000. So it depends upon how much money will be credited. That depends upon the cash reserve ratio. What is the cash reserve ratio? This total money deposited by A, the individual A, is 1,000. But since the cash reserve ratio is 10%, that is why money has been multiplied for 10 times. If the cash reserve ratio, because I have said it is variable, it is fixed by the Reserve Bank of India, it always changes depending upon the monetary situation or the money supply in the economy. If the huge inflation is there, then my CRR will be more. If the inflation is less, then CRR will be less. Because if inflation is more, then that means already there is more money supply in the economy. So money supply has to be reduced. So if money supply is reduced, then purchasing power of the people will be reduced. If purchasing power reduces, people will not be able to pay high price for the commodity. Automatically, the price of the commodity will be reduced. So inflationary situation will be tackled. If there is recession in the economy, that means supply of money is very less in the economy. That time money supply has to be increased. To increase the money supply, then CRR will be reduced. That means commercial bank will be allowed to disburse more loan. So people will take more loan at lower rate of interest. So the money supply will be more. Business and commerce will develop, and then at the same time, the people will be able to pay more. More income will be generated. More people will be employed. More industries will come up. More people will take loan, and more establishments will be set up. So everything will depend upon the rate at what the Reserve Bank is fixing the CRR. If I give you another example of different CRR, you will see the difference. Suppose credit creation, 1,000, same amount of money into 20%. Now 1,000 into 1 by 20 by 100. So equal to, so it is 1 by 5. It is 5. It comes to 5,000. 20%. So we see here, when CRR is 10%, then CRR is 10%. When CRR is 10%, credit cases, the amount of money is saved, CRR is 10%, then credit cases is 10,000. CRR is 20%, credit cases is saved. That means if CRR is more, CRR is more, then credit creation will be less. Credit creation will be less. So credit creation and cash reserve ratio are non-proportionately related. It depends upon the CRR. If CRR is more, less credit will be created. If CRR is less, then more credit will be created. This is about the credit creation policy of the commercial banks. Very much important thing for your syllabus. Are all of you clear about this? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So, okay. Then this is little confusing. After that, which I need to discuss is the Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India. What is Reserve Bank? Reserve Bank, as I have said, it is the bankers' bank. Here, Reserve Bank usually does not deal directly with the customers. It lends money to the commercial banks. As I have said, CRR is fixed by the Reserve Bank of India, and accordingly, the commercial banks are empowered to lend money to its customers. So that total role is performed by the Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank is the bankers' bank. It is the bank of the government also. All government deposits and everything are held with the Reserve Bank of India. And the commercial banks are having their own account with the Reserve Bank of India. So commercial banks are actually asked or instructed by the Reserve Bank of India to disburse loans or not to disburse loans, or to take deposit or not to take deposit. Everything is controlled. Not only the banking system, so all monetary mechanisms are monitored by the Reserve Bank of India. There are so many non-banking financial institutions like LIC or some other where the direct cash is not loan or direct cash is not customers are not allowed to perform like the commercial banks. So those non-banking financial institutions are there. Those are also under the preview of the or under the monitoring system of the Reserve Bank of India. So total monetary system. So Reserve Bank plays key role in monitoring the monetary authority. Mainly in case of inflationary situation, we find Reserve Bank plays very vital role. If there is inflation, already I have said monetary policy is measured, monetary policy is controlled, and fiscal policy obviously not controlled by the Reserve Bank of India or monetary policy. So there are different instruments of monetary policy. Suppose, as I have said, cash reserve ratio is one, then bank rate is another, then capital liquidity ratio is another. So there are many weapons or the many instruments which are monitored or controlled by the Reserve Bank of India time to time, depending upon the situations of money supply in the economy or the economic situation. Suppose cash reserve ratio, already I have explained what is cash reserve ratio. Cash reserve ratio is actually the rate at which the commercial banks are asked to maintain its liquid cash to meet the customer's day-to-day demand. Accordingly, the commercial banks are allowed how much loan will be disbursed to its customer or not. It depends upon the money supply, conditions of money supply in the economy. Or in another way, it can be said it depends upon the inflationary situation or deflationary situation in the economy. Suppose there is recession in the economy, in that case, Reserve Bank instructs or Reserve Bank pays the CRR less percentage of CRR. because if the CRR is less, then commercial banks will be allowed to disburse more loan, and then more money will be thrown in the economy, and the people's purchasing power will increase. Accordingly, the market price of the commodity will be more, and people will be able to earn also more. More loan will be disbursed. What is bank rate? Bank rate is nothing, it's a bank lending rate. As I have said, Reserve Bank does not deal directly with the customers like us, it deals with the commercial banks. That means whenever the commercial banks are allowed, commercial banks are allowed to disburse more loans, but the commercial banks might not have or may not have the sufficient amount of money to disburse loan. In that case, Reserve Bank usually lends money to the commercial bank at a fixed rate of interest. So the rate at which Reserve Bank lends money to the commercial bank is called the bank rate. So bank rate is the rate at which Reserve Bank lends money to the commercial bank. If the bank rate is high, then in that case, the commercial banks will not be able to lend more money to its customer. So accordingly, the less loan will be disbursed. That is done in case of huge money supply in the economy. Money supply is more. Again, if money supply is less in the economy, then the bank rate also reduces. So the commercial bank can take more loan from the Reserve Bank of India, and accordingly more loan can be disbursed to its customers. So the rate at which Reserve Bank lends money to the commercial bank. Then repo rate is another. Repo rate is somehow similar to the bank rate. It depends upon the short-term loan or long-term loan. Otherwise, both are the bank lending rate. Statutory liquidity ratio. It is somehow related to CRR, but not is actually CRR. CRR is totally different from statutory liquidity ratio, or it is also called statutory liquidity margin. So it also depends upon the amount of price, and the long-term or short-term loans are usually disbursed. Depending upon that, SLR is also determined. Then OMO, open market operations. What is OMO or open market operations? OMO or open market operations actually the mechanism by issuing or by selling or purchasing bonds, equities, and shares, debentures, etc. So selling bonds or equities, etc. If there is huge money supply, that means purchasing power of the people is more. Purchasing power of the people is more means what? That means the general people are having more money in their pocket. In that case, what will do? Reserve Bank instructs the commercial bank to sell the shares, debentures, etc. Whatever at high rate of interest. If the shares, debentures, etc. are sold at high rate of interest, then automatically the people will be more attracted, more interested to buy those bank papers, issue shares, debentures, etc. to buy. Once they buy, that means they are paying money to the bank. Once they pay money to the bank, automatically money is taken away from their pocket, so that the money supply reduces in the market, in the economy. If money supply reduces, their purchasing power reduces. Purchasing power reduces means they will not be able to pay the high price for the commodity. So this is one of the weapons controlled one of the controls that inflationary situation or reduction of money supply. Suppose in the economy money supply is less, and the total economy is passing through towards a start stage, or the recessionary stage, or there is recession in the economy, or through economy is passing through the recessionary or the contractionary phase of the business cycle. In that case, that means the people's purchasing power is less. People are not getting job people are rather they are terminated from the different employment sector. Rate of employment is very high. Very less. Unemployment rate is very high. In that situation, to raise the purchasing power, to move the business commerce to achieve the sizable economic growth, then money supply has to be increased. In that case, government again purchase those shares, bonds, etc. What will happen once the government starts to purchase? The people who have invested previously in selling those bonds, securities, etc., they will now try to sell. Government will purchase. Once government purchase those, then money will go from government, these banks, to the people's pocket. In that case, this customer's pocket. In that case, their purchasing power will be more. So more money supply will flow in the economy. By this way, total monetary system or monetary policies are controlled by the Reserve Bank of India. Those are the functions. So advancing loan to the commercial banks and controlling the credit policy. This is actually the credit policy, monetary policy or credit policy controlled by the Reserve Bank of India to make the economic situation stable, or the economic stabilization policy is controlled by the Reserve Bank of India. This is about Reserve Bank. Then, as per your syllabus, another type of bank you have to study is the cooperative bank. About cooperative bank, I don't have so many things to say. It is similar to the commercial banks. Most of the functions of commercial banks are performed by the cooperative bank. As per the Cooperative Bank Act of 1949, those cooperative banks were established. Those cooperative banks also follow the guideline of Reserve Bank of India. As per the instruction of Reserve Bank of India, cooperative banks also perform their roles. What are the roles they perform? Usually, they also accept deposits. They also advances loans. But the purpose for which cooperative banks were established mainly to promote the agricultural sectors in the rural area. So they are more attached to the agriculturists, farmers. So those who are in need of small amount of loans are given. But nowadays, those cooperative banks have come up to the urban sectors too. Those urban businessmen are also issued or given loan by the cooperative banks. So cooperative banks, as per the Cooperative Act of 1949, they are also moving, they are also going up. So they also functions nowadays, they also encash the cash of different banks. So more powers are given to the cooperative banks also, mainly in rural areas, to explore, to solve the financial issues of the villagers, or to explore or to expand the village economy or the rural economy. This is all about the bank you have to study as per your syllabus. To sum up, what I have discussed today is the commercial bank. First, the definition of bank. After the definition of bank, I have discussed the functions of the commercial bank, and most important part of the commercial bank which you have studied is the credit creation policy or credit creation process of the commercial banks, wherein you have studied how the money multiplies, how from a small amount of money more credit can be created. So the credit creation process of the commercial bank you have studied. Again, you have known the credit creation process depends upon how much the credit will be created on the cash reserve ratio. So total credit creation process depends upon the cash reserve ratio, which is fixed by the Reserve Bank of India. If CRR is less, more money will be credited, and if CRR is high, less money will be credited. That is why amount of credit creation and CRR are non-proportionately related. After that, you have studied the Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India was established as per the Reserve Bank of India Act of 1934, and it came into operation in 1935. Since then, Reserve Bank of India is considered as the bankers' bank, which has the sole controlling authority of the total monetary system of India, or total monetary mechanisms of India. Total money market is controlled. So commercial banks are part of the money market. That is why commercial banks are also controlled by the Reserve Bank of India. So Reserve Bank of India performs different functions: credit creation by controlling the inflationary situation or deflationary situation in the economy to make the economy in stable position. So economic stabilization is one of the main functions of Reserve Bank of India, to make the economy in stable position, economic stabilization. To make the economy stable position, Reserve Bank usually look for the inflationary or the deflationary situation, and that is controlled by different instruments of monetary policy. What are those instruments? Instruments are CRR, cash reserve ratio. Instruments are repo rate, reverse repo rate, then open market operations, bank rates, statutory liquidity ratio, etc., etc. Those are the weapons through which the total monetary system is made stabilized, depending upon the situation of money flow or money supply in the economy. After that, you have studied the Cooperative Bank. Cooperative Bank was established in 1949 as per the Cooperative Bank Act, which usually performs most of the functions of the commercial banks, these advancing loans, accepting deposits, disbursing loans to the agriculturists, means farmers or small entrepreneurs or businessmen, etc., etc. This is all about the syllabus of bank as per the CBCS board. Thank you very much. Any question?